China, one of the world's largest countries in population and GDP. Since Xi Jinping took office in 2012, he has made massive strides in many areas of the country. However, one promise that he made in 2014 has not yet come true. Global soccer glory. In 2016, the Chinese Football Association revealed their plan. The short-term goal from 2016 to 2020 was focused on grassroots soccer. The next decade, till 2030, is to become a regional power in Asia. And by 2050, they want to become a world power in soccer and win a World Cup. Despite all their other successes, huge economic resources, and enormous talent pool, they have not progressed. According to FIFA's rankings, China is 93rd in the world. They failed to qualify for the 2026 World Cup. Their domestic league, the Chinese Super League, is terrible. On a whole, Chinese soccer is not good. Why? To approach this puzzle, I will look at two general sport development models and how they apply to soccer in China. These frameworks help show the strengths and weaknesses of China's approach to building a competitive soccer system. Does China fit in with these models? Why or why not? And if they don't, does that explain their failure? The pyramid model starts with a broad participation base. The middle part is competitive sport. This is where athletes start to advance to higher, more competitive levels. The top part of the pyramid consists of the sliver of players who are talented enough to make it to the highest level. They are the best of the best and represent the nation in their sport. In order to have an effective pyramid model, there are three criterion that must be met: recruitment at the grassroots level, player retention, and advancement of these players as they progress. Is each step met in Chinese soccer? How did Xi's plan hope to target each one of these criterion? China's youth soccer system is referred to as campus football. Every primary school must teach soccer in PE because China sees schools, not clubs or academies, as the best way to grow participation. This replaced the old club-focused model, which pushed competition over academics and drove kids away. The new approach tries to blend school and soccer to keep students more involved. There have been improvements. The target of 20,000 soccer schools that was set for 2020 was hit in 2019. However, compared to the initial stage of its implementation, the nationwide enthusiasm for youth soccer has declined. Many kids stop playing soccer once academics start ramping up. To produce world-class players, a country needs strong player retention. To address this, the Chinese government has worked to keep more students in the system by offering academic incentives. Soccer players can take simplified versions of entrance exams, and top athletes can enter the sports talent track, which provides easier access to elite universities while allowing them to balance serious training with academic study. While China has introduced some incentives to keep students playing, opportunities for easier university admission through sport remain extremely limited. So instead of continuing the balancing act of school and sports, many players quit early to focus on their studies, a phenomenon known as the 12-year-old trap. Coaches, parents, and organizers all observe the sharp drop-off from younger to older age groups. Still, a few specialized school programs have managed to produce notable talent. Evergrande Football School is the largest in the world, offering scholarships and financial aid to top players. It's produced hundreds of players selected to represent China and cultivated over 10,000 players. It's sent more than 100 players to the Chinese Super League. On the topic of the CSL, China initially poured money into their domestic league to increase the level of competition at the top end of the pyramid. These are some of the high-profile foreign stars the CSL brought in for massive transfer fees, hoping their presence would raise the league's quality and expose homegrown players to top-level competition. However, as we'll see in the final development model, this boom did not last long. The next theory of sport development is the necessity for sport governing bodies to have autonomy. Both FIFA and the International Olympic Committee have provisions stating that autonomy from third parties is vital to having a successful governing sport body within a nation. Before the 2015 soccer reforms, the CFA was directly under the General Administration of Sport, GAS, itself under the State Council. The 2015 reforms called for decoupling the CFA from GAS. However, the reform still requires the CFA to follow party and state policies, with GAS providing supervision. So, there is some contradiction here. In 2017, it was officially announced that the CFA was independent. However, the then CFA president noted that decoupling did not mean separation, and the party leadership would be retained. Additionally, its current president Song Kai is a leading figure in the CCP. More broadly, soccer in China is shaped by politics and big corporate interests. During the CSL boom in the mid-2010s, major companies rushed to buy teams. But these investments weren't just about profit. As one investor said, they were responding to a national policy call and trying to gain favor with Xi. It shows how politics often drive Chinese soccer more than the sport itself. When clubs are controlled by politically connected corporations and the CFA answers to government agencies, decision-making is influenced by politics and business rather than sporting integrity. Because of this lack of independence, there has been widespread corruption. In 2023, the then CFA president was taken into custody for bribes and sentenced to life in jail. In 2024, 43 players and club officials were banned from Chinese soccer on charges of match fixing and gambling. Autonomous governance theory holds that sport grows best when organizations operate independently. The CFA and CSL show how limited autonomy can undermine long-term development. Using the pyramid model, China shows strong recruitment through soccer schools, but retention is low. Advancement is better with schools like Evergrande producing national level players. The autonomy theory shows governance is tightly linked to politics, limiting integrity. This lack of independence has fueled corruption and scandals, hindering long-term growth. China has set ambitious goals, but has so far failed to achieve them. Throwing money at the problem isn't enough. Success requires building a sustainable soccer culture, improving youth retention, and allowing real CFA autonomy. Yet the government's deep involvement in nearly every aspect of Chinese life, as we have seen throughout this course, limits independence, and without structural reform, these goals may remain out of reach.